Carlo Dela Peña, Newsline World starts now. Nearly 2 years into the Gaza war, Israel is intensifying its push into Gaza City. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is now making it clear, even if Hamas agrees to a ceasefire or a hostage deal, Israel's campaign will not stop. Franco Baranda for the details.
The Israel Defense Forces this week announced the first stage of an operation to seize Gaza City and what it calls the nerve center of Hamas rule. Netanyahu doubled down on his position that Hamas must be wiped out completely. In an interview with Sky News Australia, Prime Minister Netanyahu earlier in the week, as speculation mounted that Hamas was close to accepting a U.S.-brokered ceasefire proposal, the same plan Israel had previously endorsed. Hamas has since confirmed it signed onto that deal, but for at least 3 days, Israel has offered no official response. Reporting for Newsline World, Franco Baranda, SM9 News.
The United Nations is sounding the alarm. Child hunger in Gaza has reached devastating new levels. In just 6 months, the number of malnourished children has tripled. An aid agency said the suffering is no accident, but the direct result of blocked humanitarian access. UNRWA Commissioner General Philippe Lazzarini revealed that nearly 1 in 3 children in Gaza City is now malnourished. Nearly 100,000 children under 5 were screened, and the findings confirm what aid workers have been warning for months. Gaza's youngest are wasting away. Lazzarini called it a man-made starvation, stressing that for half a year, aid convoys have been unable to deliver food, medicine, and essentials to desperate families trapped inside the enclave. The toll of the war itself is staggering. Gaza's health ministry says more than 62,000 Palestinians have been killed and over 156,000 injured since fighting erupted in October. But for children who survived the bombs, hunger has become another deadly threat. A powerful tropical storm slammed into Japan Thursday, bringing heavy rain, strong winds, and widespread disruption as authorities brace for potential flooding and damage. Meanwhile, Japan warns over 520,000 people may need to evacuate if a major Nankai-through earthquake hits. Queenie Kikuzaki has the latest on these.
Tropical storm Ling Ling made landfall on southern Japan on Thursday, forcing thousands of residents to evacuate low-lying areas and prompting warnings along the coast. Streets in affected regions quickly became waterlogged and public transportation services faced significant delays. Meteorologists warn that storm torrential rain could trigger landslides in mountain areas, while sustained winds are strong enough to damage homes and topple trees. Authorities have urged residents to stay indoors and avoid traveling unless absolutely necessary. Power outages have been reported in several prefectures, and emergency crews are standby to respond to storm-related incidents. Schools and some businesses have closed as precautionary measures. Authorities say Ling Ling is expected to weaken as it moves northward, but heavy rain and strong winds could continue to affect central and northern Japan over the next 24 hours. Residents are urged to follow local advisories and take safety precautions. Meanwhile, in other news, over 520,000 people in Japan may now be forced to evacuate due to potential major earthquake along the Nankai Trough. According to a government survey released earlier this week, the number of potential evacuees could surpass the 470,000 displaced during the 2011 Great East Japan earthquake and the Fukushima nuclear disaster. The survey conducted by the Cabinet Office revealed that 707 municipalities across 29 prefectures have been designated as high-risk areas of natural disasters. Japan is now preparing for a possible tsunami that would follow a Nankai megaquake, as some coastal areas may be hit within just minutes after the quake. Authorities emphasize the importance of early preparation to avoid massive damage and loss of life in the event of Nankai Trough megaquake. Because of this, the Japanese government is urging local governments to designate advanced evacuation zones to ensure residents, especially those in vulnerable areas, can leave safely and in time.
This is Queenie Kikuzaki, your global citizen correspondent reporting for Newsline World.
In India's financial capital, life has ground to a halt as floodwaters and landslides from days of relentless monsoon rains claim lives and cripple daily routines. Let's find out more on this from Fatima Nozil.
Mumbai has been brought to a standstill after 5 days of relentless monsoon rains left 21 people dead and 10 others injured across Maharashtra state. For several days, the downpour triggered floods, landslides, electrocutions, and building collapses, forcing the closure of schools, shops, and government offices. Public transport was heavily disrupted as more than 300 millimeters of rain fell within 24 hours between Monday and Tuesday. Drone footage showed several neighborhoods submerged, with water reaching knee-to-waist height and vehicles stranded in the streets. Among the fatalities was a 17-year-old boy electrocuted in Mumbai's Bandup suburb after stepping on a live cable. While in Jalgaon district, 5 members of a family died after coming into contact with a fallen wire near farmland. The floods have once again exposed the city's deep vulnerability to extreme weather, leaving communities struggling with disrupted services and heavy losses. Reporting this has been Fatima Nozul, SMNI News.
In Colombia, hundreds of taxi drivers paralyzed traffic in Bogotá.
Say the proposed legislation in Congress equates licensed taxis with private vehicles working through apps but without the same requirements. Taxi operators must hold valid licenses, insurance, and pay taxes, while app-based drivers often do not.
Marchamos por el decreto 136 que nos está perjudicando al gremio taxista. Ese decreto no nos favorece en nada porque homologa a cualquier carro a trabajar el servicio público individual de pasajeros.
Some protesters carried placards and even costumes, with one demonstrator dressed as a Roman soldier declaring the taxi drivers' guild does not surrender. In Colombia, digital transport services still operate in legal uncertainty as no law explicitly authorizes or bans them. This gray area has fueled repeated clashes between taxi drivers and app-based operators, with lawmakers now under pressure to decide their future. For God and my beloved Philippines, Angel Pastor, SMNI News.
Coming up, a new twist in the Nord Stream saga. Tensions flare again over the Nord Stream explosions. German authorities now set to question a Ukrainian suspect arrested in Italy. And India pushes back. In Moscow, India is standing firm on its oil deals with Russia, rejecting U.S. criticism and calling America's stance unfair and inconsistent. Newsline World will be back after the break.
Isang digmaan na parang pelikula. Missiles, drones, at bunker-busting bombs. Pero ang epekto, totohanan. Daan-daang patay, wasak na infrastruktura, at nagmahal ang presyo ng langis na nakaapekto sa pandaigdigang merkado. Ito ang tinaguriang 12-day war o 12 araw na gyera sa pagitan ng Iran at Israel. Isang gyerang nagbago sa takbo ng politika, ekonomiya at seguridad, hindi lang sa Middle East kundi sa buong mundo. Hunyo 13, 2025, binomba ng Israel ang Iran para pigilan ang umano'y pagbuo ng nuclear weapons. Gumanti ang Iran. Libu-libong missiles at drones ang pinakawalan na ikinamatay ng 28 sa Israel. Sa loob ng 12 araw, kaliwat kanang opensiba ang inilunsad ng magkabilang panig. Hunyo 22, sumali na ang Amerika. 3 nuclear sites sa Iran ang binomba gamit ang B-2 stealth bombers sa Isfahan, Fordo at Natanz. Sabi ng US, layo nitong hadlangan ang nuclear program ng Iran. Pero para sa Tehran, ito raw ay pagtalikod sa diplomasya. Hunyo 24, Inanunsyo ni US President Donald Trump ang ceasefire. Habang pansamantalang natahimik ang putukan, nananatiling mainit ang mga tanong. May saysay pa ba ang diplomatikong kasunduan kung nauuna pa rin ang dahas? Marami ang umaasang ang tigil putukan ay simula ng mas mahinahong diskusyon. Pero ang duda nananatili. Sa Israel, nagtago ang mga sibilyan sa mga bomb shelter. Habang sa Iran, maraming taga Tehran ang napilitang umalis sa kanilang mga tahanan patungong Turkey at Armenia para makaligtas sa gulo. Sa Iran, ayon sa Health Ministry nila, 610 na ang patay, 4,746 ang sugatan. Sa Israel, 28 ang nasawi ayon sa Army Radio. Marami rin sa military commander at scientist ng Iran ang nasawi. Sa Israel, umabot sa 8.7 bilyong dolyar ang kabuang gastos sa digmaan. Katumbas ito ng halos 725 milyong dolyar kada araw sa loob ng 12 araw. Habang ang Iran, nahirapang makabangon dahil sa nasirang pasilidad. Matapos ang deklarasyon ng ceasefire, nakatutok na ulit ang puwersa ng Israel sa Gaza. Ang Iran, walang plano na agad makipagnegosasyon sa Estados Unidos. Bagaman sinuspende rin ito ang muling pakikipagnegosasyon sa US patungkol sa kanilang nuclear program, bukas pa rin ang pinto ng diplomasya. Tuloy pa rin ang nuclear program ng Iran na iginiit nilang para sa mapayapang layunin. Giit pa nila, lalo pa raw paiitingin ang pagsulong nito sa gitna ng tensyon. Sa kasagsagan ng tensyon, nagbanta ang Iran na isasara ang Strait of Hormuz, isang makitid na lagusan kung saan dumadaan ang halos 20% ng langis sa buong mundo. Bagamat hindi pa ito isinara, nagdulot na ng panik ang banta ng Iran. Tumaas ang presyo ng langis. Umabot sa $78 kada barrels ang crudo. Damang-dama ng buong mundo ang epekto ng digmaan. Ang pandaigdigang merkado nataranta. Sa kasagsagan ng gyera, bumagsak ng 2% ang US S&P 500 at tumaas ng 30% ang gastos sa maritime insurance na nagpabigat sa kalakalan sa Asia. Sa Pilipinas, na umaas sa imported na langis, lalong tumaas ang presyo ng gasolina, LPG at bilihin na nagpalala sa inflation. Ang mga Pinoy na nasa Middle East na nais bumalik sa Pilipinas dahil sa takot na hirapan makauwi. Kapag tumataas ang presyo ng langis, sumasabay din ang gasto sa produksyon ng mga bilihin, kaya't ramdam ang epekto nito hindi lang sa petrolyo, kundi sa buong ekonomiya. May panukalang fuel subsidy para sa mga PUV. Pero sapat kaya ito? Isa itong paalala na kahit malayo ang labanan, ramdam.
International tensions have resurfaced over the 2022 Nord Stream pipeline explosions as German authorities prepare to question a Ukrainian national arrested in Italy amid long-standing disputes over who is behind the blasts? Let's hear more from this story from Sara Santos.
A Ukrainian national suspected of involvement in the 2022 Nord Stream pipeline explosions was arrested Thursday in Rimini, Italy, and is expected to be extradited to Germany to face charges. German prosecutors identified the man as Sergei K., alleging he played a role in the blasts near the island of Bornholm in September 2022, which damaged both Nord Stream. Had prior knowledge have also been dismissed by U.S. officials as false. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called the accusations politically motivated, aimed at undermining support for his country's armed forces. Putin, meanwhile, labeled the incident a terrorist attack likely carried out by state-backed specialists. The suspect is now in Italian custody as German authorities prepare his extradition for questioning. Reporting, Sara Santos, SM9 News.
India is pushing back against Washington's criticism of its energy policy. Speaking in Moscow, Foreign Minister Subramanyam Jainkanshar defended New Delhi's oil purchases from Russia, arguing that the U.S. position is inconsistent and unfair. Joy Tabanao tells us more.
Indian Foreign Minister Subramanyam Jaishankar has defended New Delhi's purchase of Russian oil, pushing back against U.S. criticism and calling Washington's position confusing and unfair. Speaking in Moscow on Thursday, after meeting Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, Jaishankar said it was misleading to single out India when other countries import far more.
We are not the biggest purchasers of Russian oil, that is China. We are not the biggest purchasers of Russian LNG. I'm not sure, but I think that is the European Union. We are not the country which has the biggest trade surge with Russia after 2022. I think there are some countries to the south. We are a country where actually the Americans said for the last few years that we should do everything to stabilize the world energy markets, including buying oil from Russia. Incidentally, we also buy oil from America, and that amount has been increasing. So, quite honestly, we are very perplexed at the logic of the argument that you had referred to.
His remarks came after Donald Trump doubled tariffs on Indian goods to 50%, putting fresh strain on economic ties. Indian officials have also accused the U.S. of hypocrisy, pointing out that Washington continued to import Russian chemicals, something Trump recently said he did not know about. While Lavrov used the talks to blame Ukraine and the West for blocking peace efforts, Jaishankar kept the focus on India's energy needs, stressing that its choices are based on national interest, not outside pressure. Joy Tabanao, your citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
In Moscow, Russia's foreign minister is accusing Ukraine and its Western backers of working against U.S. President Donald Trump's efforts to resolve the conflict. Prince Tripoli for the details.
Speaking alongside his Indian counterpart, Subramanyam Jaishankar, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov claimed Ukraine's leadership, which he says is backed by the West, is trying to block U.S. President Donald Trump's initiatives for a long-term settlement.
В устойчивом, справедливом, долгосрочном урегулировании. Цели, которые остаются у украинского нынешнего руководства, а эти цели, безусловно, подогреваются западными спонсорами киевского режима, они направлены против тех усилий, которые предпринимает президент Трамп, с которым мы активно и конкретно сотрудничаем в поиске долгосрочных, устойчивых путей к урегулированию, с тем, чтобы устранить первопричины, а другая сторона как раз наоборот хочет эти первопричины усугублять.
Lavrov also dismissed President Volodymyr Zelensky's recent calls for a meeting with Vladimir Putin, accusing him of showmanship and political trickery.
Касается встречи, о которой говорит Зеленский, вспомните, что он же очень долго заявлял, что он никогда не будет с Путиным вести переговоры, он до сих пор не отменил свой указ 3-летней, по-моему, давности, которым прямо запрещается вести переговоры с Путиным. И явно вот такая его активность на предмет организации саммита с российским руководителем, она тоже имеет цель показать свою якобы конструктивную нацеленность на процесс урегулирования, а на самом деле просто подменить серьезную, тяжелую, трудную работу по согласованию принципов устойчивого разрешения кризиса, подменить такими вот эффектами в стиле КВН, в стиле «Квартал 95» и прочих трюков, которыми украинский руководитель, нынешний так называемый, пользуется весьма и весьма активно, боясь, что внимание к нему будет падать, как это уже происходит.
Lavrov insists that President Putin remains open to talks, but only after the groundwork is properly set. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Prince Tripoli, your citizen correspondent.
In The Hague, former President Rodrigo Duterte lit up a rare family visit from his daughters Kitty and Vice President Sara Duterte, who shared light-hearted moments at a detention center. But beyond the smiles, Duterte's camp is also pushing a new bid for his interim release ahead of next month's crucial hearing at the International Criminal Court. Jason Rubrico has the latest on this.
Yes, I was with Bibi today. Actually, it was a very cheerful and lively visit today because syempre, nakitaan sa mong papa ay ang mga girls. Actually,
Veronica Kitty Duterte gave a light-hearted account of their Wednesday visit with her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, joined by Vice President Sara Duterte. She said her father's mood brightened the moment he saw his daughters.
Ayun, nakasmile. And then, syempre, nagbeso kami, nagmano, naghug. And then sabi niya, my little girls.
She added that while her father appears thin, he is eating well and is closely monitored by the staff at the detention center. Kitty further shared that her father requested to be visited simultaneously by all of his children.
We are waiting on the schedule of Pangpulong and Vice Mayor Baste as of now. So, actually, no, medyo everything was kind of rushed. So, we are still arranging it. But I think it's either by the end of the month or next month, sasabay kaming apat kasi yun yung special request ni PRRD.
Meanwhile, Duterte's camp has filed another motion for his interim release in an undisclosed country. His lawyer, Nicholas Kaufman, submitted the appeal on August 19, assuring the court of Duterte's full compliance with any conditions. Vice President Sara Duterte is also in The Hague to meet with her father's legal team and prepare for next month's confirmation of charges hearing. For God and my beloved Philippines, I am Jason Rubrico, SM9 News.
Taiwan is preparing for a national referendum to be held on Saturday, August 23rd. The referendum will give the citizens of Taiwan the power to vote on whether Unit 2 of the Maanshan Nuclear Power Plant should resume operations, provided that the relevant authorities confirm it poses no safety concerns. The said nuclear plant, located in the southern part of Taiwan, has faced strong opposition from environmental groups and parts of the public due to safety concerns, especially in light of past natural disasters in the region. Environmentalists believe that the potential dangers of nuclear energy outweigh its benefits, particularly given Taiwan's vulnerability to earthquakes. Meanwhile, supporters of nuclear energy argue that the plant is essential to Taiwan's energy security as it provides a significant portion of the country's electricity supply. Currently, both anti-nuclear activists and nuclear energy advocates are actively campaigning through protests and public forums. Iran's military is ramping up efforts to showcase its growing firepower highlighting new missile launches and naval drills meant to underscore deterrence and strengthen coordination across its armed forces. Let's hear the latest version of Force in Vergil Parba's report.
Iran has staged naval drills in the northern Indian Ocean in the Sea of Oman, firing a range of cruise and coastal missiles as part of its latest show of military strength. Video released by the Iranian Navy on Thursday showed warships and ground-based units launching Nasir and Qadr naval cruise missiles along with Qadr coastal anti-ship systems against targets at sea. Navy Chief Admiral Shahram Irani used the occasions to declare the official start of the Iqtidar 1404 exercises. State media reported the operational phase of the drills began on Wednesday, citing Rear Admiral Abbas Husseini. Independent verification of the timing and the location of the footage has not been possible. Iran's top military official Major General Mohammad Hossein Mousavi said the exercises highlight Tehran's push to modernize its defenses, boost deterrence, and tighten coordination between the armed forces of the Ministry of Defense to safeguard national security. This is Verhil Parba, your citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
Madalas ka bang napapasobra sa pag-scroll sa phone mo kahit puro masasamang balita ang nakikita mo? Isipin mo ito, nakahiga ka na sa kama, nagche-check lang ng phone bago matulog. Tapos, hindi mo na malayan, ilang oras ka na palang nagbabasa at nanonood ng mga balita tungkol sa digmaan, sakuna, politika at lahat ng masasamang nangyayari sa mundo. Nakakaramdam ka na ng kaba at pagod. Pero tuloy mo pa rin ang scroll mo. Ang tawag dyan ay doom scrolling. Ito ang habit ng paulit-ulit na pagtingin sa mga negatibo o nakakadepress na content tulad ng digmaan, krimen o problema sa mundo. Nakaka-stress pero hindi mo pa rin mapigilan. Ayon sa isang pag-aaral ng Texas Tech University, ang sobrang konsumo ng masasamang balita ay nauugnay sa pagtaas ng stress, anxiety at pisikal na sintomas gaya ng pagkapagod at sakit ng ulo. Ayon naman sa Harvard Health, ang doom scrolling ay nagpapataas ng fight or flight hormones tulad ng cortisol at adrenaline na nakakapagpabigat ng isip at katawan. Nakakaapekto ito sa iyong mood, tulog at maging sa mental at physical health mo. At kapag naman puro memes at random na content ang pinapanood mo ng sunod-sunod hanggang sa mawalan ka na ng gana na mag-isip at gumawa ng iba pang gawain, ang tawag naman dyan ay brain rot. Sa Gen Z at tinatawag na internet culture, ang brain rot ay overconsumption o sobrang tagal na panonood ng paulit-ulit, mababaw, magulo o walang saysay na content online hanggang sa parang manhid na ang utak mo. Kapag nasobrahan, syempre, nakakasama. Nawawalan ka na ng focus, nawawala ang motivation, hirap mag-isip ng malalim, parang lutang o foggy ang utak. Masaya sa simula, pero kapag sobra, napapagod ang isip mo. Nahihirapang mag-concentrate at parang lutang. Mas delikado pa ito sa mga bata dahil ang utak nila ay nasa proseso pa ng pag-develop. Kaya mas malakas ang epekto ng doom scrolling at brain rot sa kanila. Maaaring makaapekto sa pag-aaral, pag-iisip at pakikitungo sa iba. Ang higit sa 4 na oras ng screen time araw-araw sa mga kabataan ay konektado sa 35 to 88% na mas mataas na posibilidad ng depresyon, anxiety at stress. Base ito sa isang malawakang pag-aaral sa Brazil. Kaya, maging balanse. Magpahinga sa screen, magbasa, makipagkwentuhan, magdasal, maging present lagi. Alagaan ang iyong isipan. Kung anong itinatanim sa isipan mo, yun ang lalago.
Pasasaan pa ang kalayaan kung ang mga alipin ngayon ay sila din naman mang-aalipin bukas.
Ibigin mo ang iyong bayan ng sunod kay Bathala, sa iyong kapurihan at higit sa lahat sa iyong sarili.
natin mapapalaya ang ating mga sarili maliban kung sumunong tayo na nagkakaisa sa iisang hangarin.
Ang tunay na makabayan ay ang tumutupad ng pagpapabuti ng kanyang mga kapwa, gaano man kaaba ang kanyang katungkulan. Naway magsilbing paalala ang kanilang mga salita upang lalo nating mahalin at tapat na paglingkuran ang minamahal nating inang bayan.
The Philippine government is welcoming a new donation from Japan, forensic equipment that officials say will boost the country's capacity to uphold justice and protect human rights. Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin called the donation more than just a technical upgrade, but a gesture of compassion and respect for human dignity. The equipment, including mortuary refrigerators, autopsy carts, and body scales, was turned over to the University of the Philippines, Manila. It's part of Japan's institutional investigation of custodial debts project supported by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, or UNODC. A new declaration of cooperation was also signed by the Department of Justice, UP Manila, and UNODC, ensuring that persons deprived of liberty who die in custody will undergo independent forensic examinations at UP Manila. Japanese Ambassador Kazuya Endo says he hopes the donation will help strengthen law enforcement and the justice system in the Philippines. Officials say the initiative is a step toward greater transparency and accountability in the country's penal system. At an international development summit in Tokyo, South Africa's president sent a clear message. Africa is not looking for aid. Instead, it wants a lasting partnerships built on trade, investment, and innovation. Daniela Paulite for the details.
Africa is not seeking aid. It is seeking partners. And that is why we are here. Partners that understand value creation, sustainable development, and mutual industrialization.
This is South African President Cyril Ramaphosa's reminder to the world during a plenary session on the economy at the Tokyo International Conference on African Development. His words drew strong reactions from delegates attending the high-level summit. Ramaphosa says Africa is ready to shape its future amid a rapidly evolving global landscape. He also outlined a reform agenda he says is making South Africa more attractive to investors, from upgrading power systems to opening ports and railways to private sector players.
We have stabilized our energy supply and are modernizing our infrastructure. We are opening our ports and rail to private sector investment.
The South African president highlighted growth areas such as electric vehicles, green hydrogen, and digital infrastructure, industries he argued could anchor Africa's reindustrialization. As for the African Continental Free Trade Area, Ramaphosa hails it as a game changer, one that could turn South Africa into a gateway for global companies entering African markets.
We're actively working with the AFCFTA Secretariat to finalize value chain protocols in automotive, agro-processing, pharmaceuticals, and textiles.
Ramaphosa didn't shy away from trade politics either. Without naming names, he warned against dependence on single markets, a likely reference to U.S. tariffs, and appealed to Japan for fairer access.
We call on Japanese counterpart companies to support tariff cooperation to ease market access for African goods.
Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Daniela Paulita as Manay News.
Activists are calling on Ecuador's government to respect both a 2022 referendum and a court order to halt oil drilling in Yasuni National Park, warning that ongoing operations continue to threaten one of the world's most biodiverse regions. Let's hear more on this from Jillian Gutierrez.
Indigenous communities and environmental activists gathered outside Ecuador's constitutional court on Wednesday, urging the government to honor a public mandate to end all operations in Yasuni National Park. Protesters marched in Quito, carrying banners that read, "The state ignores the people and Yasuni free of oil." They called for the immediate shutdown of Block 43 ITT, an oil field inside the Amazon reserve, citing the results of a 2022 referendum where nearly 59% of voters backed halting extraction. Among those present were members of the Guarani nationality along with national indigenous federations such as Conaye Confeniae and the CL Yasuni Collective. Demonstrators accused authorities of disregarding both the popular will and a constitutional court ruling that ordered drilling to stop by August 2024.
Ecuador decidió dejar de explotar el Yasuni. Ecuador decidió dejar el petróleo del bloque 43 bajo tierra. Esto no está en discusión. Lo que ahora está en discusión es quién participa realmente del proceso de cierre y desmantelamiento del bloque 43. Este proceso se debe hacer junto a la nacionalidad guaraní, junto a las comunidades que han sido históricamente afectadas por la explotación petrolera.
Youth activists also appealed directly to President Daniel Noboa, demanding respect for indigenous rights and an end to extractive activities that continue in defiance of the court's ruling.
Y hoy, a usted, señor presidente, le digo, tenga conciencia. ¿Hasta cuándo nos va a respetar nuestros derechos? ¿Hasta cuándo va a dejar y permitir que otras personas ingresen y dañen y maten nuestros derechos, nuestra vida?
Despite the ruling, activists say more than 200 oil wells remain active in Yasuni, leaving one of the world's most biodiverse regions under threat. Jillian Gutierrez, your citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
United States President Donald Trump visited Washington, D.C. Thursday, praising law enforcement, promising safer streets, and serving hamburgers and pizzas to officers. Hannah Jane Sancho has more of this story.
President Donald Trump visited Washington, D.C. Thursday to meet with National Guard troops and local law enforcement officers, praising their work and promising to restore safety in the Capitol. Footage shows the president greeting officers and delivering a speech, highlighting what he called unprecedented results in reducing crime rates across the city. Trump announced plans to improve city infrastructure, including repaving streets, refurbishing medians, and removing graffiti, while vowing to maintain law and order.
We're going back to Congress for some money, and we're going to redo a lot of the pavement, a lot of the medians, a lot of the graffiti's all coming off real fast. We're not playing games. We're going to make it safe.
Trump praised the local law enforcement for their efforts, saying residents are now enjoying safer conditions and sharing stories of returning to restaurants and local businesses after years of fearing for their safety. He also highlighted the ongoing deployment of up to 2,000 officers from federal agencies and the National Guard across the city.
And we're going to take care of these criminals. We're going to put them where they have to be. You're going to say, don't play around with us.
The president also promoted economic growth, pointing to new factories including artificial intelligence or AI and auto plants that are being built across the country, emphasizing the need for increased electricity and the return to fossil fuel-powered energy plants. Trump added a lighter moment during his visit, serving White House hamburgers and pizza to officers, praising their service and encouraging them to enjoy the meal before returning to duty. The visit comes amid Trump's controversial declaration of a so-called Liberation Day in D.C., invoking Section 740 of the District and Columbia Home Rule Act, directing Attorney General Pam Bondi to oversee the Metropolitan Police Department, even as recent federal reports indicate that violent crime in the city has dropped to a 30-year low. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Hannah Jane Sancho, SM9 News.
The Philippines is gearing up to showcase world-class talent as it hosts the 14th WorldSkills ASEAN, an event often dubbed the Olympics of Technical Vocational Skills. Nearly 300 competitors from across the region will put their abilities to the test, including 2 young Filipinos ready to prove themselves in the digital game art. Jason Rubrico has the story.
Representing the Philippines in the 3D digital game art category are Judeo Kenzler Delica and Elijah Sid Gaspar. They will go head-to-head against competitors from Brunei Darussalam, Cambodia, Indonesia, Lao PDR, Malaysia, Myanmar, Singapore, and Thailand. The two underwent intensive training with the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESDA, for 8 months beginning in January.
For that, we have to memorize a lot of softwares. Like each softwares has their own different uses.
Confident naman po kami para po sa competition, and we know all of the modules po. So we are very prepared for this upcoming competition.
3D digital game art is just one of 32 skills area where about 300 competitors will battle it out. The Philippines will host the 14th WorldSkills ASEAN, only the second time since 1996.
It's the WorldSkills ASEAN 2025, which is a gathering of the best competitors, no, in specific skill areas from the 10 ASEAN countries plus East Timor now. And as a gathering of the best, it is a kind of Olympics, no, for TVET skills.
Organizers say the event is more than just a contest. It is expected to strengthen the country's technical vocational training system, boost global competitiveness, and highlight Filipino talent. For TESDA, the real win is creating better job opportunities for participants. 3D digital game art expert Cynthia Javier says the gaming industry alone already offers huge potential.
Actually, this is the main focus ni Tesla, employability natin tumaas. Because nga, since there is a demand in our industry, especially the gaming industry, nag-iiba na. This is the biggest global trend na.
TESDA ensures all its training regulations are industry consulted and its modules are aligned with real industry practices geared toward making every trainee truly job ready. For God and my beloved Philippines, I am Jason Rubrico, SM9 News.
In a world of entertainment, Hollywood legend Nicolas Cage may be headed to television for the first time in decades, reportedly in talks to lead the next season of HBO's True Detective. Meanwhile, Chris Martin is setting the record straight. Coldplay's onstage Jump for Tron moment isn't what the internet thinks it is. Here's Sigrid Castañeda for our showbiz news.
Hollywood icon Nicolas Cage may soon be headed to the small screen. Reports say the Oscar-winning actor is in talks to star in the next season of HBO's True Detective. While details of his role are still under wraps, Cage is expected to play the lead investigator in the anthology's newest mystery. His casting would mark his first major scripted TV role in decades. The move comes on the heels of True Detective Night Country, led by Jodie Foster, which revived the franchise with its chilling Alaska setting and strong reviews. Returning showrunner Issa Lopez will take the reins again, this time shifting the story to Jamaica Bay, New York, with a premiere eyed for 2027. From big to dream scenario, Nicolas Cage has been enjoying career resurgence, and it's confirmed this could be one of his most intriguing roles yet. Meanwhile, Coldplay is speaking out after one of their concert moments sparked global buzz and even cost the executives their jobs. During the band's stop in Hull, England, frontman Chris Martin addressed what fans have been calling a kiss cam segment. He pushed back against what he described a misunderstanding that's gotten out of control. The comments come after a viral incident in Boston last month when former astronomer CEO Andy Byron and Kristen Cabot, the company's former human resources executive, were caught on a big screen sharing an embrace during the show. The clip exploded online and the pair later resigned from their company. But despite the controversy, Coldplay says they're not backing down from what they see as a fun way to connect with their audience. And with the band still packing stadiums worldwide, it seems no amount of viral drama can dim their spotlight. This is Sigrid Castañeda, your citizen correspondent, bringing you latest showbiz.
In Liverpool, a young girl's passion for chess has turned into a record-breaking victory that is inspiring players worldwide. Crystal Guanco for the story.
At just 10 years old, Budana Sivanandan has made history on the global chess stage. Competing in the final round of the 2025 British Chess Championships, Budana stunned the chess community by defeating 60-year-old Grandmaster Peter Wells. The International Chess Federation confirmed her victory, noting that Budana is now the youngest female player in history to defeat a Grandmaster, achieving the feat at only 10 years, 5 months, and 3 days old. She surpassed the previous record set by American chess player Carissa Yip in 2019. What makes Budana's achievement even more remarkable is her journey. She first discovered chess at age 5 after receiving a chess set as a gift. With no formal coach in the beginning, she taught herself the game by watching YouTube videos before eventually entering local and international tournaments. Budana shared that her favorite pieces were the knight and queen, and that what began as a simple curiosity soon turned into passion. She also revealed her fearless approach to the game, that she liked to play harder opponents so that if she loses, she can learn from them. Her victory is more than just a personal milestone. It's a story of resilience, curiosity, and the power of young minds. At just 10 years old, Budana has already proven that age is no barrier to achieving greatness, inspiring a new generation of chess players worldwide. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, this has been Crystal Guanco, SMNI News.
And before we end, may you be inspired with the words of the sun. This ministry is the hope of the world for peace, for prosperity, for the lasting peace that should happen. And that's all for this edition of Newsline World. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, I'm Carlo Dela Peña. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.